was here eating, she eats organic, but she does eat, I guess the processed food would be like from, I don't know if y'all know what Air One is, like grocery store here. So it's organic, but it's still like packaged. Some of the stuff is packaged, and I don't know.
Where do you live?
I live in LA.
LA. Okay. So even if people are eating clean now, they didn't eat clean their whole life.
Yeah. So, I mean, I knew it was a detox symptom, but she was just wanting me to ask if like that, if you knew that of that happening. Because I've soaked mine many times and it didn't happen to me. So I was like, oh,
Right.
I was really fascinated by that.
Right. So you're finding out that everybody has different metabolism. Everybody has different body chemistry. Everybody has a different vibration. Everybody's in a different place in their journey. So
Yes.
you,
I told her maybe go a little slower too, because soaking them maybe 3 hours could have been, I don't know, maybe
Oh.
start off like 30 minutes and then go from there. She did like 2 nights in a row that much, but that's kind of her style. And I understand because I'm kind of like that. So
yeah, I would love to talk to both of you. Um, so it's just maybe she needs to back it down, pace herself a little differently.
yeah. So
And the other thing which we're going to discuss when we talk about the holistic wellness model of using urine therapy, and that is the emotional and spiritual and physical counterparts that will assure you that you'll get results, because there's a totally different approach that I teach versus drink your water, have a good life. Right? Because when people say, well, will it heal diabetes? Will it heal multiple sclerosis? Will it heal COVID? Will it heal cancer? The answer is yes, and the answer is also no. Because based on the 4 pillars of health being in alignment, mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, will determine your rate of success, et cetera, et cetera. Plus, there are things stored in our unconscious belief systems that also need to be brought to the light and cleared out, if you know what I'm talking about. All our patterns that are still creating chaos in our life and crazy relationships.
My daughter had a question actually about what would happen if somebody had a urinary infection.
Like UTI?
Yeah. They just carry on drinking it, or?
You would carry on drinking. You would also carry on doing the protocols.
Just carry on.
You want to carry on, but you also have to improve everything else that's going on in your life.
Sure.
There's Catherine, and then the last person is Megan McDonald. This is Catherine Doolin. We've chatted several times over the last year, and she's finally getting in a class. So Michelle, welcome back. Anything that somebody has challenged can be healed, but they got to really want to heal. They got to be determined. They got to put in the work.
Okay, I think I got it.
One of the things that you're going to learn the wisdom points, and I've emailed you guys all the Shivambu wisdom chart. Right?
Oh yeah, sure.
So Shivambu has the power to alchemize anything it touches. You know what that means?
Change it.
It will transform it. If you gargle with it and you swoosh with it and you swallow it, there'll be no more bad bacteria in your mouth because it will neutralize it and lift its vibration. It becomes Shivambu. If you take a bath in city water, don't worry about it. Pee in your bathtub, neutralize the chemicals in the water. And on this alchemizing goes. Hi, Catherine. Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody. I just got back on. Sorry.
No problem. We're going to wait just a hair or so for Megan McDonald. She's also a urine therapy teacher. She's been on a couple of conference calls with Kate Stillman. Does that ring a bell? Doesn't matter. If you get to Shivambu Hut, anybody heard of that place yet?
no.
4 buddies and I put together a nonprofit organization called the Shivambu organization. The website is shivambu.org. Let me put it in here so you guys can check it out. shivambhu.org. Where is my personal assistant? So we created a social media platform called the Shivambu Hut, and it's dedicated solely to the urine therapy movement and all the questions and concerns anybody has. So we post a lot of content, and members post content, and everybody helps each other going through difficult, challenging times, plus how to have conversations with your relatives. And for free membership, we currently have 515 members.
It's
Fantastic.
on what platform?
It's called Shivambu Hut.
Is it just, you said it's on a social media? Is
Yeah,
it-
it's our own.
Oh, it's your own platform.
The platform is called Mighty Networks.
Okay. Oh, I haven't heard.
If you go to shivambu.org, look for the link that says Shivambu Hut. And you'll see things that we've found on searching the internet that support the movement, the evidence, the causes, the benefits, the testimonials that other people didn't find. And there's a lot of voices, and I'm really jazzed to be one of the big voices in this movement, because we have voices from all over the world that are adding new content and new insights and new testimonials every day.
Oh, and that's mighty.
Well, if you get to Shivambu Hut, you'll see it in the on that page.
Oh, okay. See, yeah.
Mighty Networks is just basically the platform, and our group is the Shivambu Hut.
Yeah.
We also have 2 Telegram groups. One Telegram group is Urine Therapy Does the Body Good. There's about 230 members. And then we have a private Telegram group just for graduates of these courses. And I must give you a heads up, everybody falls in love with each other. Because with this water family, you can talk about a subject you can't bring up with everybody. And so, just to get really clear, we are people from around the world that were called to this inner water, this water of life. And that's maybe your story too. I'd love to hear it at some point. And so the people who are called didn't have to go through their filter. They didn't have to change their belief system. They just intuitively knew, that sounds so right. I'm going to start.
True.
And other people need a little more convincing, and I teach you how to get through their misperceived ideas. So let's do this. I don't know what's happening with Megan, but we're going to have a break at around 11:45, and we're going to 1 o'clock today. Can everybody make it till 1 o'clock?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
so whatever your time zone is. Justina, do you want to stay muted or unmute yourself? She was the bridge that brought me together with Crystal. Hi, Justina.
I'm just getting situated. I don't want you all to watch me eating and stuffing my
Oh,
face. So I was getting all my stuff and I don't have my Shivambu. So I'm like, well, T will do a substitute. So thank you.
Okay, do you want to go get some sacred water to bring to our communion?
It's not wanting to produce right now. So
It ain't happy. Do you have a jar?
I've got regular water.
That will work. Sometimes we have our urine therapy. Some of my gurus have been doing urine therapy in India since 1984. And sometimes they forget to bring it. And I tell them, just put a jar under the table during the class. You can make some. So she just brings water and says, this is going to have to symbolize it.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. So as you can tell, did anybody get their hands on this book?
No, I need to.
I read it the other day on the PDF that you sent me because I.
Okay, so you can either get it from Amazon or signed copies from me. Either way, you'll get your hands on it. And the
Is
other
it
book,
similar to the practitioner one?
well, let me get the practitioner one out.
Let's see.
This is the training book for this course.
Yeah, that's the one I read.
Okay, and so this book we're going to read the prayer for our communion this morning. One thing we like to do is bring in a sacredness about this class and a reminder that the water is sacred. So you'll expand to see that when you drink it, it's a moment in time that you can transform your health as well as liberate yourself from all kinds of stuff. All right, get your water. Let's do this prayer. You guys are familiar with kirtan?
Yes, I am.
All right, so you're familiar with devotional music and chanting. So how this works is going to be caller response.
Kirtan. Kirtan.
Kirtan, Kirtan.
Yes. Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay, so we're going to do this caller response style. Ready?
Ready.
I take this water of life.
I take this water.
Water of life.
I declare it the water of light.
I take
Declare it
And water of light.
As I bring this water within this body,
As I bring water in this body,
it allows me to glow.
It allows me to glow.
I take this water of light.
I take
I take this water of light.
I declare it the water of God.
I declare it the water.
The water of God.
I am the master of all that I do and all that I am.
And
The master of all that I do and all that I am.
So be it.
so be it.
Oh, that was a good year. 20 minutes old. Boy, that was a good year. So let's start off with everybody take a few minutes and tell us your name so we can all remember you and a little bit about your journey. Crystal, you want to go first?
Sure. My name is Crystal. I live in LA. I'm from Texas originally. Oh, I just unplugged my computer, so let me replug.
What city? What city in Texas?
Pardon?
What city in Texas?
I'm from Longview, North Texas.
I'm from El Paso.
Oh, opposite end.
Close enough. Keep going.
So my journey, well, for me, it kept coming up in different groups that I follow that had nothing to do with urine therapy. And I remember the first time I heard it, I was like, what in the world? I had no idea. Like, I come from a conventional medical background. So I was like, urine therapy? I was like, that's interesting, but I just dismissed it. And then it came up like 3 times in 1 week. And I'm like, wait a second, this is significant. So I watched a video on it. And the next day I tried it and it was okay. And then the very next day, which was November 29th of last year, I started looping and I've just kept looping ever since. So I know the first day like that I started looping, I was like home alone. My fiance had gone to for a work meeting. He flew somewhere for the day. And that kind of gave me the courage because I had like the space to myself to just loop because he had some concerns at first. Like he was kind of like, what? And so he was gone and I just had like such a magical experience with myself. Like it's just pure, like straight heart opening. Like there was like a hummingbird came to the window and I was crying and I was just like, it's beautiful, magnificent hummingbird, divinity and all. Like I was just like, what is this? It's like, this is magic. And I just kind of sat around and drank it all day and just had this amazing connection to myself and source. And I'm like, I'm doing this forever. I'm telling everyone about it. And so I literally tell everyone about it everywhere I go. And it has just been so healing. It was like, started, I had this chronic illness and I was bedridden for off and on for 2 years.
What was the illness?
Breast implant illness. And I got an explant November 2019. And I got them out. And yes, all my joint pain went away. But there was just a lot of other things that had to be taken care of as well. Sure. And so about a year after that, I started doing coffee enemas. Those really helped me. So I've been doing them for like 15, 16 months. But it was like I was constantly always kind of looking like, well, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? I mean, you should see my supplement cabinet. It's insane. And then once I started this, it was like, wait, this is it. The search is over. The answer is me. it's like my own water. Like I always had exactly what I needed. And there's nothing else I could ever need. And that was so empowering, especially like as a female. I don't know, like it was just like, wow. And the self-love, and I don't take supplements anymore. And yeah, and now it's made me want to be like fruitarian. I'm not 100%, but like I just want, like I'll get out Postmates and I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna order this, and my mind is like, yes, and then my body's like, no, and I'm like, dang it, I'm gonna eat 3 mangoes. I don't know. And so it's so funny, and I just love eating fruit now. And it's
Crystal,
easy.
Crystal,
Yeah.
we're gonna give everybody a chance.
Oh, sorry, I'm getting a little too excited. This is what happens.
We're going to talk about looping. We're going to talk about saturation dosing.
All right. Yeah, I can talk about it all day. Yes, and
talk about sip looping. And
So great.
I'm going to also invite you and everybody here, if you want to let the world know that you're a urine therapy teacher, that we can get you listed on the Water Family Directory.
Oh, amazing.
Because I put this together last year, so anybody who's looking for a urine therapy teacher close by anywhere in the world can contact them.
Oh, I'd love that. Yeah, I mean, I already read, like I was reading every book I could get my hands on. So yeah, I'm really grateful for this experience together now. So thank you.
All right, I am putting in the chat feed my email address. So if anybody's interested in either getting in the Water Family Directory, or at some point I'll teach you guys how to get an honorary doctorate degree, which I've been offering for the students, so you have credentials.
Wow.
Who wants to go next? Michelle?
Okay. Hi everybody. Well, I've been on a journey of healing for, I don't know, since I was about 21. I'm 54 now, and I've sort of been going on and off with all sorts of searches and experiences. My mum had MS, my sister had ME, and I was always opposed to having something. And I spent my 20s detoxing, doing every kind of healing modality and cleanse that I could possibly do. And then I got married, had my daughter, and just got very confused with, what to cook for Tom, what to cook for my daughter. And I did a naturopathy course that I didn't complete because of things that were going on, but I learned about urine therapy there. And I was eating a living food diet then, and vegan, but I've done all sorts of diets then. I even went back to meat at some point because I got sick, and then I met a therapist like, you've got to have B12, and so I was having B12 injections. It's gone on and off. It's been just a crazy on and off journey. I've literally done everything. And
was that all before you discovered urine therapy?
No, actually, no. No, hang on. So I was putting I've been putting urine on my face and hair for like over 20 years, and I was using drops. But
we missed the last few words that you said. You kind of blipped out. Can you repeat that?
I've 20 years I've been putting it on my skin and my hair and my body and using enemas, and but I didn't drink it. I kept on waiting until I was perfect, because self-hate and all that. And which I realized later. And anyway, I had this absolutely majorly traumatic time, and stress for a couple of years, and I got really, really sick. I lost blood. I had an infection, and then I eventually got, the third illness was pneumonia. I cleared the pneumonia the first time with the normal penicillin, which was the first time I'd taken pharmaceuticals since I left home. And this was about, I don't know, 3.5 years ago, because I was suddenly very sick, and I was just like, oh God, this is terrible. I've got to take this. Anyway, I got better. I was having vitamin B B12 injections and all sorts. And then 3 months later, I got sick again. And I just knew, I was like, oh my God, I knew I was gonna die if I didn't do something really full on. And I knew I couldn't take the penicillin again. And my daughter came in and she was putting the urine on her hair.
Mm-hmm.
And I was suddenly like, oh my God, what the hell? So I just got on and I was just Googling and I saw Dave actually came up and he'd done a fast for like 3 weeks or something. And that was it. I was just like, I suddenly remembered, and I did a 25-day fast. I didn't eat anything. I was on an infrared crystal bed.
What were you drinking? What were you drinking?
I was just drinking just pee, just water, just the water. And I was just literally like this for 20 days, like 25 days, just staring at the wall. I was doing body rubs and enemas every day. And yeah, so that, and I was speaking to everybody about it after that. And so I was drinking it for a good while and felt like the best I had ever felt in my life. It was a total reset. And then last year, full-on stuff happened again, and I just fell off the wagon. Everything that was going on in the world, we moved. Trying to get it all in. We moved country, so we're in Portugal now from the UK.
Oh, we got to talk. I've got more contacts out there.
Oh, really? Oh, fantastic. And then I just felt my body becoming very heavy, and I just knew that it was the warning signs of toxic overload, and I just started again, and here I am.
Well, congratulations. We are going to go further into detail about all things related to Shivambu in our 6-part series. Catherine, unmute yourself.
Okay, got it.
Anybody else, if you're not talking, if you can mute yourself, because sometimes we're getting background sounds.
All right, I'm unmuted now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, I'm Catherine, and I live in the San Diego County, actually Oceanside, California. So I'm 65, and I have gone through all kinds of health challenges in this past couple of years, the last year especially. But I've had a lot of allergies, a lot of sensitivities, chemical sensitivities. I'm just super sensitive to everything. And a year ago, I had a dental procedure and antibiotics and an extraction. And after that, my whole gut biome completely got off balance, and I was reacting to everything I put in my stomach. I was down to just eating just a few foods, and I ended up losing almost 40 pounds. So I'm still only 100 pounds, and I'd like to gain at least 10 to 20 pounds back, just because I feel like I don't feel healthy. Let's put it that way. I feel like I need a little more weight on me. And so, anyway, I had heard about urine therapy, Shivambu, actually from my own daughter about, I don't know how many years ago it was. It might have been 10, 15, 20 years ago. She had asthma and eczema, and she heard about this, this urine therapy, and told me about it, and ordered this book, Your Own Perfect Medicine. And I remember her talking about it and going, well, Mom, it's supposedly, supposed to help that. And she was doing it. I remember her doing it, and I'm just going, oh my God, I don't know how you can do that. And she doesn't have asthma and eczema anymore. And I'm just going, was that why she doesn't have it anymore? It just dawned on me. And then, so I still had the book, but because I had moved to Alaska and then can't come back, I didn't have it anymore. And I had given it to a friend of mine that lives close by. And I asked her, I said, did I possibly give you that book, Your Own Perfect Medicine? And she looked, and she goes, yeah, I have it. She goes, you want it back? And I'm like, yes, I do. So she gave it back to me. I started reading it and like everything lit up in me. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the answer to all these things. And I'm the same way as what was her name? Crystal, I have a whole pharmacy in my closet. It's like I have so many supplements. I've been trying so many things to get well this past year. And most things have just made me worse. And then I started doing the UT on urine. I'm not drinking. I'm not looping because I tried looping for a couple of days and I got just super nauseated, like vomiting sick. And so I'm not looping until I get a little more on balance, but I'm drinking every morning. I drink all my urine and then I put it on constantly all day long. And every time I think about it, I keep putting it on. And then I do enemas, I do nasals every morning in my ears and my eyes. And so, and then I have my hair occasionally, and then I do foot soak. So I've done it all except for I haven't snorted the aged yet. And I'm working up to that.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Okay, but anyway, that's where I'm at, and I'm really excited to be doing this. And this is miraculous. It's like the only thing that I need. But I'm not, I'm still doing some homeopathy and things like that from a functional medicine doctor. So I'm still not quite, trusting that it's going to heal me completely. And I hope this class helps me with that.
Well, good. I'm glad you're here, and we're going to support you in getting to a level of confidence and certainty with your water, that the doubts and the concerns will fade away.
Great. Thank you.
Justina.
Hello, I'm Justina. And it was very interesting. I'd never heard of urine therapy, never heard of Shivambu. And then it started coming in onto some of my newsletters. And so I saw a presentation on it. And then the next day, Crystal had texted me and said, what do you think of this? And so usually when I get like three hits in a very small period of time, that's usually how the universe is communicating with me. So, and then I think I got a third thing, and then I said, oh, okay. So Crystal had started her journey, and I think I was getting over something, and then I was like, I'm not sure if I should start it now or then, but I did, and the most interesting thing early on, I think I started in December, was I started getting like information from the water. So I wasn't doing a lot quantity wise. I was like first a few drops and then like a sip and then just really working up because that ego mind is so like trained in a certain way of thinking about health, the body, medicine, yada, yada, yada.
How it is.
How it is, yes. So I could feel that. But I mean, I would say a couple weeks into it, I started really tapping into the spiritual consciousness intuitive piece.
Nice.
And so it was really like, it was almost like talking to me inside. And so I had said to Crystal, I said, this is really interesting because it's like I'm coming home to me. I had a very, like, multi-dimensional experience the first few weeks, and so it was really teaching me that I'm working with more than just water, more than just stem cells, more than something else. And so then I went a period where I couldn't do it, and I started feeling disconnected. So it's a lot like when people talk about those near-death experiences, which I've also had myself, where it's like you're going into the light, you're going home, you're one, it's all great. So I did that with the water, and then when I stopped and fell off the routine, I felt really like I was missing me. So the message was, well, this is communion with your soul, and so you're missing your your soul. So it's that connection, and so that was really beautiful. When I travel, it's really hard to get into the ritual and the practice, but I do have a special glass that I use, and I have found when I'm in California, it's easier to get into it. Like now being away, I have been doing it on and off. It's not as intense, and so I think there might be something with the ley lines. I'm in a ley line for myself that is not very expansive feeling. But when I'm in California, the energy field is just a lot more supportive, so I can have these like wow revelations. So I'm actually curious. You know, there's the technical piece, like the dose, the amount, the da 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 da, the actual practical aspect of it as a healing modality. But
Yeah.
then there's this other part that I'm very connected to and being taught by the water that I'm interested in is the soul medicine piece, that consciousness piece, that source, soul, oneness, union, because they do a lot of work with 0 point fields and the
You know
divine.
this stuff,
Yeah,
Justina.
yeah. So I'm on a massive Heroes Gamos journey, and so it's been teaching me about that too. So I think that's what I'm supposed to learn about this. There is the medical, therapeutic, kind of practical diagnosis, treatment piece. It's also very important, but I'm really more intrigued by the self soul union piece.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad you're here. You have a wealth of experience and inner wisdom to share with this group, and I'm going to enjoy benefiting from each and every one of you over the six parts that we're going to do here. Um, Really quickly, I'm going to go over my book collection so you can see what different books are out there and show you all different protocol, the urine therapy equipment that I've been collecting. Some people would say I'm a little over the top with urine therapy, but it's a lifestyle, and I'm drinking all day, applying it in my hair, my eyes, wherever, bathing in it. It's a constant. For a lot of people who are on this journey, it's a constant approach to returning to the womb, because we all know we were in the womb in mom's belly. We were drinking amniotic fluid, which was mostly urine. So the people who get the calling, they go, wait a minute, I drank it, I sniffed it, I bathed, I massaged my body in it, and you came out a beautiful baby body, right? And so that memory is in everybody's unconsciousness, and some people they have it activated a lot sooner than other people. The thing that I got from talking to you, Justine, or just listening to, is that there is an innate intelligence that comes with the water of Shiva. Now, Shivambu, spelled the traditional Hindu way, is Shivambhu, because Ambu means water. So Shivambu either means the water of Shiva or the blood of the Lord, in this case, blood plasma water. So what happens is the urine, which I prefer to call Shivambu or Orin or a whole bunch of other stuff, is encoded with information and energy that draws us all the way back to the beginning of time in the creation from Shiva itself. I'm not giving him a gender. From Shiva itself. So that intelligence knows exactly how to take all the thousands of components that come through your filtered blood plasma through the nephron system, the chambers inside your kidneys, to produce not only perfect medicine, but in perfect timing. You get the alarm clock, it goes off, it's called the bladder. You get the little pressure, and it goes, oh, it's time to take your medicine. So that memory also knows how to regenerate and reproduce perfect cells. It's kind enough to give you stem cells, which you know are non-differentiated cells, and it knows, because of its wisdom and original blueprint, how to produce perfect cells for your liver, for your heart, for your back, for your whatever, every single body part, even your cornea and retina of your eyes. So it goes to work. And if you don't interfere with its ability by eating junk or doing drugs or having a bad attitude, that can go rather quickly. Now, when it comes to the intuitive part of this medicine, which is in the, did you guys get the email? I sent you the Shivambu wisdom chart.
I didn't look, but I'll look.
Yeah, check again. If you didn't get it, just remind me, I'll get it to you. It's an intuitive medicine, which has been, I've noticed that people in the water family around the world are getting a lot better at listening to their inner voice. The intuition that comes with the water will tell you when to drink it, how much to drink it, when to fast on it, when to get an enema, and when to take a day off. Ironic that I would say that, right? But even anybody who's a good nutritionist or a good religious person will say, well, the Bible says on the seventh day God rested. So I look at my life and go, am I obsessive about even urine therapy? What if I took a day off, came back on, noticed I can get back in my cycle just fine, and I just wanted to get off any obsession about it. So do you see how the intelligence seems to work for you? Now we're going to go over everything that's known and unknown about Shivambu. And one of the things that we're going to do is also break us free from dogma, traditions, and superstitions that surrounds this holy water. And if we go back to the Dimar Tantra, do you know what that is? The Dimar Tantra, which you can find excerpts from my book, was the holy scriptures that go back to Shiva and Parvati. One day, Parvati says to Shiva, how come you don't age? You're always so good looking, and you're strong, and you're sexy. What is your secret? She outed her husband, right? He says, well, drink of yourself and you'll know. Drink of yourself. So he lays out this 9-year course called the Dimar Tantra, which teaches you not only how to heal yourself of everything week after week after week after week, but at the very end, achieve physical immortality. And it's a lovely segue into my next book called The Secrets of Youthing. And we're going to teach all about physical immortality as well as Shivambu and all kinds of ways to heal the human condition and clear all the belief systems and patterns that we've been holding unknown to us our whole life. All the way back from the birth trauma to stuff we got from our parents, the stuff we got from the education, so everything is going to be cleared out. And that book goes into deep detail. It was actually a metaphysical classic in 1994, and the author was a mentor and a spiritual teacher for me. And he passed away in 3 years ago, and his wife blessed me with the ability to revise and bring the book back to life so we can honor his legacy. So here's some of the things, here's some of the books. This was my Bible. The Golden Fountain by Cohen Vanderkroon.
That one's good.
Okay, that's at Amazon, or you can find PDF. There's the Hindu Water Cure. I don't know if this one's still around. This was back in the 70s. Boom. Uropathy, Martin Lara. Manav Mudra, 1975, Mr. Patel. Is it backwards?
No.
Oh, wonderful. Now, this was the original book. You can see I got all the pages, but it's going to have a new cover, and it's going to have a whole new feel to it, The Secrets of Youthing. This is David Phillips' book, Omad Orin Looping. Omad means 1 meal a day.
Oh.
And it's an awesome lifestyle when you can get to that 1 meal a day moment, like around between 11 and 2 o'clock, and that's it. And the rest of the day you have fruit. By the way, he's not a doctor. He forgot to put a dot there. His name is David R. Phillips.
Okay.
So don't get confused. And then this last book is by my good friend, and he's also part of the board of directors at Shivambu. His name is Doc Mike Whittort. His book is called Sudden Cures They Don't Want You to Know About. The first one is urine therapy. And you can't get this online. We got to contact Doc Mike to ship you a copy. Oh, am I going too fast?
No.
He's some old school. Look how he made his book. Loose leaf binder. Yeah. Did you need to see that again, Justina? Okay. And then the other books which I recommend is Aged Urine by Harry Matadine out in England.
That's
And
on Kindle Unlimited too, if you have Kindle Unlimited for free.
he also went to the extent of making it a hardback. That was great. So I'm going to teach you the difference between what people call aged urine to what I call evolving and evolutionary Orin. It's a whole nother mindset. It's a whole nother consciousness. So I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to show you all the different equipment that I have. And then when we take the protocols apart one by one, then you'll understand how they work. Okay, number one, oral application. Duh. Number two, my dear and close friend, or an enema. Have you guys doing enemas?
Yes.
You got down to Enema Yoga 101? Enema Yoga, you get the floor prepared with the towel on the floor, and then you hook this up and you fill it up and you,
Oh, yeah.
you get your oil. And if you do this enough rounds, like I do about 4 rounds of these, this is about almost 2 quarts. It takes you about 45 minutes.
I use an
You need 12
extender
pounds?
tube.
Wow.
What do you use?
An extender tube.
Yeah, that's fine.
I just do it in the bath.
Yeah, well, that's fine too. Just wherever you can do it. The reason for me it takes 45 minutes because the job's not done until you clean up the toilet and the bathroom.
Yeah, it takes my fiance at least an hour. So
It takes
45
an hour.
minutes sounds good.
Now, if you guys got a sense of humor, if not, you're going to get a good sense of humor when you talk about pee drinking. But what's funny is when you're doing an enema, and occasionally some of the piss comes out of the bag and it lands on the floor, and you just realize, I just disinfected my floor. I just cleaned my floor, But the old mindset goes, oh, I better clean that up. It might smell. It might leave, But that's not what it is. So that's a new learning experience.
Yeah.
Foot soaks, hand soaks. You can do foot soaks or hand soaks. And I'm going to go on and on about this protocol because for a living, I'm a master foot massage and reflexologist. So I touch feet a lot. So I'm always talking to people about foot care. And that's a whole nother conversation. You know what that is?
Neti pot.
Neti pot. You can get these at Walgreens, maybe at your health food store. For sure, you can get them on Amazon and eBay for like $20, maybe less.
Eye cup.
Eye cup. You want at least one. Some people do a double eye cup at once, but that's the eye cup. This is glass. They also have it in soft plastic. Followed by the eye cup is this adorable protocol called goggles. And if you get one with a good suction, then you can hold the Orin over your eyes for 3 or 5 minutes, or as long as you can, blinking and doing what you can before you take these off.
Nebulizer.
This is a nebulizer, but not just any nebulizer. This is a mesh nebulizer. And what this does, which I'll explain when we get to protocols, is not just like it takes the diffuser, like you use essential oils, but it takes it to a small particulate size so it turns it into vapor and gas. So your ability to not only get it up in the nose and get it through the blood-brain barrier is heightened. It's dramatic. You can feel it. Like when you start doing things through the nose, particularly aged urine, and you feel the sting. Have you had that?
No,
Yes.
I haven't done that yet.
Well, when you get to that point, you can't miss it.
Oh,
That's because your sinuses haven't been dehydrated yet.
Yeah, I was reading about that.
So
I'm looking forward to doing that.
Yeah, you're gonna get to that.
Is that a tongue scraper?
That, my friends, is a tongue scraper. We're gonna get to that. Some of your most widely used pieces of equipment.
Cotton balls.
A cotton ball and a cotton pad. So when you want to either dab it on a blemish, dab it on a liver spot, dab it on a sunspot, or you can soak this and snort it up your nose. It's a great way to do a quick nasal snort so you can wake up and get your brain in on track. That's the cotton ball. This is a 20 cc or is it 20 milliliter syringe, which you can get at any store for like $5. The Earwax Removal Kit. And I can explain when we get to that part of the class what this is used for. But what's interesting is I also went to Target and I asked Target, "You guys have those syringes? What the heck do they call these things? The earwax removal kits?" And they said, "No, but we give these away for free." This is 10 cc's or 10 milliliters. So you can go to your pharmacy and say, "Can I have a sample syringe?" And so you might be able to get one of those from your place. What else we got going here? You can pick up this if you want. This is called an Enema Fleet Bag, but you don't use it for that. You empty out the container. I just was looking for different objects so you can get it up your nose easier. So if you fill this up with your Orin instead, and you can give it some pressure, that's one way to get it up higher up into the sinus areas. These cost $2. Pretty much all this equipment is under $10. I mean, it's not very expensive. Okay, either get cobalt or a brown glass dropper bottle. This is my 3-year-old power hitter. So anytime during the day your energy starts to dip, your brain gets a little bit foggy, you take 1 or 2 dropperfuls of aged urine. Watch the magic happen. The other thing is a spray bottle. I was going to market these called a Pissamister. And so this, if you just need to refresh or exfoliate your skin during the day. Now, one thing you could do with this, but you got to have guts to do this, is when you go on public transportation, is to spray around you or spray on the headrest in front of you, because you know these people have smells and perfume and cologne. Nobody's ever tried this, but I put that in my first book, just kind of like a gag, but some people are going, "I'm going to try that. I want to do that." All right. Oh, last but not least, shower caps. Shower caps. You're either going to be using them over your head. As you can tell, I'm a serious teacher. You're either going to use them over your head or you're going to put them on your feet like they do in surgeries, so you can have a mobile foot soak. Okay? What's the question?
Mobile?
Yeah, so if you want to walk around the house, you don't have to keep your feet in a foot tub.
Shuffling, what, you put one on each?
You put one on each foot. You might need to put a rubber band around your ankle.
Oh, that's cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing I'd recommend is if you get do you live in a place where you can get in your backyard naked? Oh, you need to move. No.
No, I've got loads of land around me, but there's a road that goes all the way around the top, so everyone can see me. But
well, I live with housemates, and we go to a clothing optional hot springs 3 times a year. So we've seen each other naked. It's no big whoopee. So I can go out back, get full sun, do a whole Orin massage, lay out till it dries, and get the most benefit from it.
yeah, that's what I was kind of doing the other day when it was warm, and it was amazing. I was just hiding behind the tree a bit. It was great.
Okay, don't bring your camera. You're fine. Okay. All right, any questions so far? Let's go over the Shivambu wisdoms. But go ahead, Michelle.
Well, no, I was, the main thing for me is that I'm curious about is the sniffing it or snorting it, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
I can't get my head around that yet. So.
Okay, if you look up the works of Samuel G. Cohen, which is, we're going to read about him in the book. Megan made it. Let's see if I can get her in here. This is Megan McDonald. Welcome, Megan. She's going to unmute herself so we can see who she is. Hi, Megan.
Hello, Megan.
So sorry, I'm late. Time zone mix up in my head.
Yeah.
No problem. No problem. Everybody, Megan, everybody. So Samuel Cohen, which you'll discover in the book, The Manual for Urine Therapy Teachers, he had a website for years. I don't know if it's still up. It's called drinkingthroughthenose.com. And he studied with a guy named Kelly Raw, who in the year 2000 figured out not only how to drink Orin through the nose, but how to master drinking Orin through the nose. And he took it a little bit farther than I've ever took it, is that he discovered he can drink other things in the nose, like coconut water, carrot juice, wine, and I don't know where they're going from there, but the whole idea is to be able to collapse the muscles all around your sinuses so that when it comes up here, it'll not only cross the blood-brain barrier to get up to the pineal gland and decalcify your higher senses, but also hydrate the 5 sinus cavities. I mean, it's gonna go behind the nose. It's gonna go behind down into the esophagus that way instead of down the throat. But doing it requires baby steps for most people, because being able to operate these muscles, and you've never done it before, takes some practice.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad I waited before I tried it then.
Yeah, so there's baby steps, and the baby steps could be everything from just snorting it up your hand to getting something to pressure it up your nose, to getting to the point where you can actually drink it through one nostril or the other. And the best way to do that, which I'll explain, is to have some in your mouth first. Right? Have some in your mouth and just focus on one nostril coming up at a time. And this forces it to come in the other direction. Maybe I need to do a video on that. I don't know.
Yeah,
So,
I think that'd be good.
yeah, and there are plenty out there. Dr. Bunmi Samola in Nigeria, he has a video of him drinking through the nose. Stampana Osentosi, who's in Botswana, she has one. Who else has one? Dr. Rosalind Hansen, I think she's in Georgia. She's got one. And if you go to Shiva, what, Justina?
What is because it sounds like a lot of work, and it's not like taking just a sip. It just seems easier to drink. What's the advantage of all these other different applications?
All the other applications, or are you talking about just nose drinking?
Ear, eye, nose, these all seem like a little more involved.
Yes, because those are going to directly benefit those areas of the body instead of waiting for it to get in the bloodstream.
But technically, the bloodstream will address everything, just maybe slower, or okay.
Yeah, because people say, well, shouldn't I just drink it? That's it, story over. No, you have to basically bring all areas of your life back into balance, right? And so, but drink the point of bringing it up here is to get nutrients up into the brain and the cranium and the different areas of the brain in a direct path. It's the same when you do an enemas. It's a different way to absorb it. Crystal?
So when I just snort it, like I just take the bottle and put it up to my nose and snort it that way. When I first started doing it in December, it would be like I made the mistake of doing it too late in the evening, and then I went to a Kundalini class and I was like about to blast off. But now it hasn't given me that energy as much anymore. I don't know if I need to do more, but it's still like I still feel like I just jumped at a swimming pool and didn't hold my nose. So I'm still waiting for that to make, does that subsides, you're saying, after my sinuses are used to being
Hydrated.
Hydrated? Okay, I'm waiting for that part.
Yeah, well, these are stages, and you will get to it. It's the same thing when people will ask a question about stopping prescription drugs, recreational drugs, and all their destructive habits, because that's going to come up in your life. Just know that whatever we talk about in this class, you're going to have that conversation with other people, one way or the other. When you're doing enough urine therapy, the chemistry in the brain changes. And so the cravings for self-destructive foods, drugs, even behaviors changes. We've had people come on, and I thought these guys had guts. They came on and said they had healed pornography addiction because of urine therapy.
Yeah,
I have students say they stopped masturbating because of urine therapy. They stopped doing blah, 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 blah. This is powerful water.
amazing. Yeah, because when people watch pornography, you know, it really changes the brain pattern. So, yeah.
Yeah. And it's nice to be able to have your brain in balance so you can feel more purposeful in your life and not so confused or in conflict.
Yeah.
Yes, so you got the Shivambu wisdom charts. Let's go over those really quick.
I haven't got that.
Okay, check your email.
I don't see it in my email. I just looked.
Who just said that, Catherine?
Yeah, Catherine.
All right, I will email everybody the Shivambu wisdom charts.
Oh, can I add a cool piece of equipment that's helped me? It's very cheap. When putting on fresh, because I know I have the eyedropper, the drops too, but when putting on fresh, because I put on both, I have just like a pipette, so I can easily just take it, a little pipette, and then it holds more, and then that way I don't waste like any drops. So it's like, because I see people do that like makeup applications where they kind of like just put it on their face that way, and it's so easy to put on my hair that way without just like trying to figure out how to pour it. So that's been really great for me.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. Send that to me. Maybe we can add it for some of the folks at the hut. But people are using just simple stuff for application. This is simple for snorting as well as application, or if you've got a bump, a scratch, a bobo on your body. I mean, whatever you're going to come up with is going to be intuitive. It's going to be just perfect. And your imagination, and I've noticed over the last 5 years that I've gone public, that more people are coming up with different protocols than I've thought of. So I'm sure you guys might be the generation who figures out new stuff. So, the wisdoms. Number one, Shivambu is an intuitive medicine. So you're going to have people come to you and they say, Megan, how much should I drink? How often should I drink it? Will it help with this condition? What about this, that? And you say, well, I can tell you what works for me. And you need to know it's an intuitive medicine. It's an inside guidance system. Okay, number two, Orin or Shivambu alchemizes everything it touches. So because it's the most antibacterial, antifungal, antiseptic, anti-cancerous, anti-tumoral, antiviral water on the planet, nothing can contaminate it. Which, if you really stretch your mind, you realize you're bulletproof against COVID. Or from the vaxxed people.
Oh, I thought I mentioned something here.
Catherine.
My whole house got COVID about over Christmas, but I'm the only one that didn't. And I was drinking my Orin at that time. So I'm attributing it to that.
All right. So people will know that you're Wonder Woman and you have superpowers.
I feel like it.
we're gonna keep an eye on it. So it alchemizes anything it touches. People will ask the question, well, what if I gargle with my Orin? Should I spit it out? I said, think about it. Orin, Shivambu is going to neutralize it, raise its vibration, and match that of Shivambu. So in essence, it becomes Shivambu. Swallow it.
Sorry, yeah, that was one of my questions actually, and I didn't really understand that. Can you say that again? I don't understand why to swallow it after you've been pulling it.
I know, because people haven't made the connection yet that how powerful this water really is. If they still think that it contains bad bacteria or chemicals or drugs or whatever it is, they'll have a little bit of resistance to really discovering the power of their water. But it's going to transmute, transform, clean, purify whatever it touches. So if there's bad bacteria, quote, bad bacteria in your mouth, it's going to neutralize it and raise its vibration. It is now the same as Shivambu. Drink it.
Okay.
Right?
I wanted to mention too, I just had dental work done in Mexico, and I had a cavitation. I don't know if anybody knows what that is. where they go into the bone and they dig out the bacteria. And I switched with urine therapy afterwards, and I had no problem healing whatsoever. And I think that's probably why.
Yeah. And I'm going to refer every now and then, I'm going to refer to Dr. Vijay Gupta. Anybody been keeping up with his journey?
Yeah.
Dr. Gupta, he's been a friend and a teacher of mine, particularly urine therapy, for many years. Well, he ended up in the hospital, and he had some challenges. And so his wife was smart. We took him from the hospital to the rehab center to finally got him home within about a week. And she kept bringing in a water bottle that looked like herb tea, but we know what it really was.
I
It
love
was
it.
she was smuggling her 6-month-old urine and some of his that they'd collected, and she would feed him in the mouth, and she would massage him from head to toe, front to back, and he started to get better.
Wow.
And then she discovered now they had to give him a catheter in order for him to urinate. Well, I taught her how to get it out of the bag where it collects underneath the bed, so there's a little valve. And so she was draining the catheter urine bag and feeding it back to him like 3 or 4 ounces at a time. And after a day or two of this, all of a sudden he was lucid. All of a sudden he said, "Brother Sage, are you here? Will you give me a foot massage?" And so we brought him home. And the hospital and those medical people never knew.
Wow.
They thought it was their care that made him better.
Uh,
So right now he's at home. I've been giving him massages and going over there whenever I can.
Brother Sage, can it go in if you've already had dental work and root canals? Can it penetrate and get in there to restore that? Because even after you've had the root canal, technically that's all still infected, right? All those little canals. So has this, like when you're using it as topical dental oral,
Sure.
has it also reversed, not only just prevented cavities, but like reversed all that stuff that happens with root canal work?
I'm even starting to hear people growing back teeth. So I mean, one of the Shivambu wisdoms is that the only thing you cannot heal is what you believe you cannot heal. It's all in our head. So the people who are have pure intent to heal everything are doing that. Be really clear on what you want and go for it.
So you could technically, if you're being told, oh, you have to do all this dental work, is to work with the Shivambu,
Mhm.
and then
Clean
later
up your mouth.
on, it would be like they would go in there and be like, what happened? Where did it go? You don't need the dental work anymore? Or,
Yeah, I mean that could very much happen because you hear cases of people regress and doctors can't understand why because they're not trained in miracles and reversal of diseases.
One thing I did notice though with my dental, because I had this dental issue since a whole year ago when I had all that work done and the antibiotics, was that I still had an infection in the jawbone, and I was swishing and everything, but I knew that it was slow. It was a slow progress, and so I knew I needed to get the medication and get the bacteria out, and then the Orin therapy just like took off and really healed it fast. For me, that's what worked.
Yep.
so quads, paraplegics, like spinal cord injuries, technically, like have you seen that happen where they've gained back function that the traditional models have said, oh, you can't do anything about?
Personally, I haven't, but if you go through the testimonials that are either in Martha Christie's book, uh, um, the Perfect Medicine book, Beatrice, what's her name? Her book, Shirley. Shirley's Wellness has a whole bunch of testimonials. You might be able to find one. I know of a person who healed multiple sclerosis, and she got out of the wheelchair. This was at the Water of Life Symposium in Las Vegas in 2018. She got up and walked the entire length of the conference room, came up to the front stage, told her testimonial, walked all the way back unassisted. And I've been sending her clients with MS so she can counsel with them. So there's no limits here, which is going to stretch our ability to think outside our limitations. All right, number 3. Shivambu works no matter what you think about it. Meaning, you're going to love this part. See how we can stretch here. It doesn't matter if you drink yours, a man's, a woman's, a person of a different race, a person of a different age, if you have your dog's urine, cat, a cow, a camel, a goat, or someone who is not healthy. It works because it's that powerful of a universal remedy. And despite our beliefs about it, it still works. Bunmi Samola out in Nigeria was sick when he was 10 years old, and his mom had enough insight to feed him her urine. He not only recovered, but 20 years later, he's now a urine therapy teacher. Indira Gupta is feeding her urine to Vijay. Actually, I went to the bathroom while I was at the rehab center. I put some of mine on his feet. So we're trying all different directions to help him. And I've been known to drink my students' urine just to show them how universal it is.
But I do have a question about that, because
Yeah,
they say that we have in our own bodies, our urine will give us everything that we're missing. So in other words, it's like a map of what we need for our own bodies. So
exactly.
how can we get that using somebody else's urine?
Well, when you understand it's a universal panacea, it's a whole different approach. But if you're in a situation or someone's in a situation and for some reason they go into an anaphylactic shock, or they have a health condition and they cannot urinate, but you can, or they're stung by a jellyfish and you happen to be able to pee, I would use it.
Okay, but ultimately it's better to drink our own though? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. In a perfect world, yeah, that's ultimately.
Okay.
And I know couples that are sharing each other's urine, and it's not a sexual fetish. They're just enjoying it. There's this lovely couple out there in Hawaii, Kiana and her sister, her lover, Angel. They make these incredible Shivambu 30-second videos with music in the background, and she's been building a community out there in Honolulu, in Hawaii. And at some point, I want to talk to you guys about how to take this off the internet and build a support group in your town.
Yeah, that's what I really want to do.
That would be great. Yeah. Me too.
I'll teach you guys how I did it here in Boulder, how we've been having meetup groups at the downtown library, how to get a permit from the city to sit out on a public plaza and present what you have. And we did it. That one time I had 3 students show up and we ended up having 35 visitors. And only 3 naysayers.
Amazing.
Okay, let's see if I got all the protocols, all those wisdom points. It's a universal panacea. It works no matter what you think about it. It's an evolutionary or evolving Orin. I don't call it age because even though it is considered maturing and growing in potency and in power, it's not the old paradigm view of seeing it as age, because a lot of people associate, this is why they still have the disgust factor when you tell them do age urine. It sounds like it's getting old, it's losing its power and its memory, and it's dying like an old guy, an old woman. So I decided to use a term that feels like it empowers it. It's evolutionary water. It evolves. It's just like our spiritual journey. We're constantly evolving if we're paying attention. Saturation dosing. Have you heard the term yet?
Yes.
It's in the book. So saturation dosing is taking the oral application and multiplying it many, many more times by including topical protocols, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, foot soaks, enemas, body massages, belly button. You can learn about the navel soak. That's a hot one. And it's a way of saturating the bloodstream with the nutrients and cleaning your house a lot sooner than waiting for the urine to kick in while you're drinking it. And considering not only people have had to change their diets to raw foods and fruit and so on, you're not only cleaning that out, but if you do saturation dosing enough, you're going to get ahead of pollution affecting your body, either through air contamination, 5G, EMF, chemtrails, shedding, whatever it is. It's going to make you bulletproof if you practice saturation dosing. Any questions on that so far? Megan, it's great to have you here. If I didn't say that. Hi.
Yeah, this is fun.
We're going to take a break in about 10 minutes, just so you know. All right, it alchemizes. The only thing you cannot heal is what you say you cannot heal. So these wisdom charts are designed for you to get to the point with people instead of having to explain a whole lot. You can get right to the bullet point. Now, when it comes to the power of Shivambu, you're going to hear people say, well, I was always taught you have to do the midstream. Have you heard that one? You throw out the beginning, it takes 3 or 4 seconds, and you dispose of that, and you collect the midstream, and then you dispose of the final drips at the end. Yeah, that's based on some old superstition and tradition from the Hindus back 5,000 years. In the Dimar Tantra, it not only tells you to do that, but if you're reading one more verse later, it'll tell you it's a superstition based on them thinking it symbolizes a snake, and the beginning and the end is poison and could kill you. But today, in 2022, we know that every drop is precious. So don't waste it. And if you decide you don't want to collect it, don't throw it in the toilet. Put it in your plants. Or send it to me. I actually have about 4 or 5 gallons collected in my water closet. And doing the evolving urine has the lovely smell to me has wafted through the house, and some of the housemates kind of took offense. So I've got everything well sealed inside a thermos, and next weekend I'm going to the hot springs for 4 days, and I plan to turn my hotel room into a full-out Shivambu spa, doing massages and baths and foot soaks and enemas, and come join me. This will be fun. Any questions on the Shivambu wisdoms?
Just just talking about the shedding, chemtrails, and radiation. I'm imagining, that's quite a thing for people to believe. So we're pretty strong, aren't they?
Yeah, well, it kind of explains why people get sick out of nowhere for no reason. And now even people who are like myself are real super energetic sensitive, and we're pure because I live off fruit and Shivambu. But I'm also around people who have, all kinds of baggage and drama, and there's things that happen in the air and the walls, and I can feel it. And there are some people who can't even be in the city near power lines. That's how sensitive they are. And so there are people who understand this and some people who don't, but it's just a good idea to start incorporate saturation dosing so you don't have to think about it. Did that answer your question, Michelle?
Yeah, I think people just need to just try it, basically, don't they? I think it's just hard to imagine being able that would be true,
Right.
So, yeah, but I believe it.
Wonderful. So listen, we're going to take a break here in just about 5 or 6 minutes, but we're going to talk about what's in the water, how does it benefit you, what kind of research is going on, how does your diet affect the smell, the taste, the color, the viscosity of it. We're going to see what we can do today's class, get as deep as we can. And I'm going to go over the history of Shivambu so you can get an idea how it's played its part throughout history in various countries, as early back to the 1400s up to the 2000s. And it's exciting that in 2020, a lot of high-profile naturopaths and cutting-edge doctors are adding their name and bringing this forward. Even people like Jason Shurka in the Freedom Movement and Lori Ladd. And you've heard of Troy Casey? Troy Casey out of Sedona, the guy with the long beard?
Yeah, totally.
Lovely brother. We became good friends. I interviewed him, and he's been teaching urine therapy. He used to do a comedy routine with his buddy. He calls himself Dr. PP Shivambu.
Yeah.
And so all these people are putting their reputation on the line. That's how strong they feel about this movement and this message.
It's really exciting.
And
Was there something, Brother Sage, that kind of put it more visible in the last 24 months?
are you asking or saying?
I'm asking because it felt like something.
Felt a shift?
Yeah. So I was just curious.
I would say there's various factors. I would say the biggest factor is people don't trust doctors and big pharma anymore. And so everybody who has been desperately looking for an answer to their health and their recovery are being guided to Shivambu. A lot of people are going, I'll try it. I don't like supplements. I don't get anything from a doctor. So there's that part where the mind is moving in a new direction, the collective consciousness. And then I noticed that there was a big surge when Dr. Group and I joined forces, and we interviewed each other. And then now he's got me listed on several of his YouTube videos and on his website. My books have tripled in 12 different countries. And the guys are writing books. We look at our Amazon sales, we can go, oh, it's being sold in Japan and in India and Israel and Germany and in Australia and UK. And that says a lot right there. So the show's social media, these guys are just chatting up left and right, the content on Telegram and Instagram. There's more and more generations of kids. I've been talking to 24, 25, 26-year-olds that know they want to be a teacher. They're already listed on the Water Family Directory. They're going to get everything, all the support they can from me because they're ready to take it to the world.
There was a huge shift that did happen. The difference in the number of people talking about it, where it was being seen, really started from my perspective in about May of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize that I'd been feeling something happening, but I didn't know what it was. And then in my world, that's when things started to take off. And when you go back and you think, well, Dr. Group was saying 11 months earlier. So he started about January of 2021. And I was already feeling something. I didn't know what it was. And so in retrospect, going back and looking at it, you can feel that all these people who'd known about, especially people who'd known about it, then they picked it back up.
Right.
And so 9 months later, 11 months later, a year later, then they all have more information again and out it starts coming. But the shift, I've been doing urine therapy for 9 years, and the shift in the last year in particular has just been wild.
And at what point, Megan, did Kate Stillman show up on the scene talking UT and having several guests?
So that was because I joined Kate Stillman's community in April of 2021. And I thought, I'll talk about urine therapy in a little while. I'll get to know the community first. And I couldn't keep my mouth shut more than a week. And so I was on a call with Kate and about 60 people. And I said something she was talking about how Ayurveda and Ojas and Ama and the cleaning of the cells clicked in my head. And I went, oh, that's why the body rubs work. That's why urine rubbing all over the body is helping to clean the cells. And it made sense because, of course, urine is the mother of Ayurveda. Shivambu is the mother of Ayurveda.
You guys hear that? You guys hear that?
It's where Ayurveda, it's where it starts.
Yeah.
And so Kate has this 25 years of Ayurvedic understanding and learning and teaching. And so she was talking from the Ayurvedic point of view, and I made the connection with the urine. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. I've only been here for a week. I put my hand up and I said, so in relation to Shivambu, this is how this would work, right? And she went, what do you know about it? And I said, I've been doing it for 8 years. And she went, well, why don't you tell everybody? And 2 weeks later, I was on a podcast, and 2 weeks later, there was another thing. So she started talking, she got behind it right away. But that's what we've been doing ever since.
Right.
And
Oh,
it's,
that's why you look familiar. When you got on the call, I was like, I don't know. It's like, I just know her. I don't know how. No, I'm like, I saw your video. Thank you for that. That was a great video.
oh, good, good. Yeah. Anyway, so just from my, like, it just went pow. And Kate and I have looked at each other many times and gone, how did this happen? This, like, there was karma involved in this. There was, like, just in terms of not knowing how big one like just, that's just the two of us. And then you talk about you and Dr. Group, and then there's another two people over here and another two people over there. And these webs are just going so fast.
Yes, they're also intersecting because the timing between you guys and Kate and Dr. Group and all these people, all within a 1 year time, and even Dr. Gabriel Cousins was doing a lecture at Hippocrates, and he was talking about urine therapy.
Yeah.
And he's actually written up in the book that I'm about to publish called The Secrets of Youthing. And he goes back about 30 years, he would go to India to do urine fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
and things like with Darlene as well, where Darlene's doing her PhD. I don't know if any of you have seen some of her on some of the calls, but she and I met at a Christmas party in 2018, and I told her about it, and she does naturopath, and now her PhD is almost done on urine therapy. And again, the timing to have her PhD almost done now.
Yeah.
Right. So you go back and it's like, I was just at some Christmas party with people and I opened my mouth about urine and the open mind, because she saw the possibility and she's like, wait a minute, I need to do more. And she took off with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like just the ability to do that too. It's anyway. There's a momentum, there's a wave. And if you're gonna get caught in it, watch out, because it'll take you.
We're in the critical mass. We are in the domino effect. We're in the 100 monkey effect. We're in the paradigm shift. And last count that I had established by looking at the Chinese urine therapy community and the Germany Urine Therapy Association and everybody else, we've come up with about 30 million practitioners worldwide in about 50 countries.
Wow.
Now, the goal of the Shivambu organization is to see that increase to 300 million people. That we think might be the tipping point.
Oh, one question. So I know what really, when I first found it, Andrew Norton Weber, I found videos on him that were like from like 2012, and those were so powerful, but I can't find where he is at all. So if you happen to know him, and can you send my gratitude and love?
All right, go to aquariuswaterbearer.com.
I don't think he's updating that website.
Well, he's not updating. It might still be up, the website, but he dropped out in 2013 right after the Sacramento Urine Therapy Convention.
Oh.
And I think the powers to be got too close to him and he probably disappeared to Costa Rica or somewhere, but I don't feel that he has been harmed.
Okay, that's good to know. I was a little concerned. I'm like, he's gone.
Yeah, and you might be able to find his wife somewhere online. I'm not sure, but we're all rooting for him.
Okay.
So, guys, we're going to take a little 3-5 minute break and then come back. So, anything you need to do now would be the time to knock it out of the ball. We can go just a little bit after that, but I've got clients this afternoon. All right, we're going to go back in time. Catherine, come back.
I'm back. I had to let the dog in.
That's not the way the song goes. It's who let the dogs out. She let them in. Let's go back to some of the various names for urine. By the way, urine is a medical term that even sounds disgusting to a lot of people. And so it was Andrew Norton Weber who came up with the expression Orin, O-R-I-N. It's softer, it's easier to hear, it's a much gentler word. And if you want to know how it's connected to a superhero, go to Wikipedia and type in Aquaman. You'll find out that Aquaman's real name is Orin. He was the god of the water. Just a little trivia right there. So,
did Andrew Norton know that?
That's where I learned it.
He did know that.
Yeah. It may be on a site somewhere. The guy was a genius. So it's either known as Shivambu or Orin, or in Botswana they call it U juice, which they're referring to it is your juice, so they call it U juice. Uh, Dr. Radshak Malota, who's been doing urine therapy for 50 years in India, he calls it Loda Cola. In Nigeria, they call it Ito, I-T-O. In my part of the world, I call it orange juice. If people ask, what do you drink? I drink OJ every day. I drink my orange juice. And in the original book, I've listed all the different names from all kinds of different countries in the Healing Water book. So let's go back to the 1400s. In the 1400s, the Aztecs used Orin to heal wounds. In the 1500s, Magellan's crew drank their pee on the world cruise. In 1536, Egyptian medical texts had 50 formulas and remedies. Many of them included the use of Orin in their healing remedies. In 1611, two things happened. King James Version, in the Bible, they started adding verses that we can see with our eyes that it has to do with urine therapy. Drink of your own cistern, and you shall have rivers of abundance. I'm paraphrasing, but we've got quite a collection of Bible quotes that talk about this practice. Also, in 1600s, there was a guy named Ponce de Leon who he sailed from France to come to America to find the Fountain of Youth. Remember that story? Well, he ended up in Florida, and he didn't find the Fountain of Youth. And it's real obvious to us now because it's not something you'll find on the outside. It's all within us. He was not looking there. We are the fountain of youth. Our water is youth water. So that was 1600s. In 1695, there was a reference in a Solomon's English physician book about urine therapy. In 1806, Lewis and Clark described Native Americans bathing in their Orin. In 1890, there was a book called 1,000 Notable Things, said Orin is a universal and excellent remedy for a multitude of health challenges. In the 1930s, Professor Jean Rostad of France wrote about adrenal and sex gland hormones that were present in Orin. In 1944, the first publication of the Water of Life book by John W. Armstrong, who, by the way, was a naturopath, he wasn't a doctor. And his current book was republished in 1971. Now, there's a lot of books like his book. You can get either free PDF at the Shivambu Hut, or Dr. Group has urotherapyresearch.com. He's got a lot of these PDFs for free. That may not be the actual URL, but I can always get that for you. And in 1963 was the Manav Mucha, which you saw. In 1971, NASA gave a report about the nutritional benefits of urine. And it wasn't until, let's see, 1994 was the water, thank you, the fountain, did you check the link? Okay, the Golden Fountain book came out in 1994. The Secrets of Youthing came out in 1994. Martha Christie's books and Beatrice Barnett, her book, they came out in the 1900s. And since then, nothing really showed up until Harry and I started producing books on urine therapy around 2016. His came out about the same time I did, 2018, 2020, 2021, and you're going to start seeing more showing up on the scene. Possibly from Megan, who knows? So that's the history. Any questions? There are people who are learning about a lot of agricultural industries are collecting urine from porta potties. They're also using it for skincare because of the high urea content. You'll see a lot of products for eyes like Murine. You take the word apart, it's M, urine. And a lot of skincare and beauty care products have urea in it. But the beautiful thing is, or the not so beautiful thing is, you'll never see it in the ingredients list because they hide it under the word carbamide.
Oh.
If you go to Wikipedia, you'll see carbamide and urea intersect.
It was funny last night. I was telling a friend about it, and she was kind of shocked at first. We were just typing, and I said, it's the only scientifically proven moisturizer, and they use it in all the expensive moisturizers, and she suddenly just went, oh, she put one of those little emoji up, and she came back down and took a photograph of this some kind of body moisturizer that her friend had sent her, and on the front in capital letters it had urea, and I just thought, oh. I didn't realize it would be that blatant, and in the ingredients it said urea, but it didn't look like a really expensive product. This looked like a sort of like off the shelf kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that was kind of strange.
Yeah, if you dig deep enough into the water family posts and the content, you'll find all kinds of ingredients have urea in it. Now, some say that Cleopatra was involved with urine therapy. Some people say that when the Christ went out to the wilderness for 40 days, that's what he fasted on. Some people say that Gandhi, when he was in prison, lived off his Shivambu. Some say that Buddha taught it to his disciples. And you'll find crossing over even from India to the United States to Greece to Italy. You'll find all kinds of intersections of a lot of spiritual teachers, and a lot of natural remedies have urine therapy built into it. But it's not obvious unless you're looking. But once your eyes wake up, you go, my God, does anybody else see this? It's like everywhere. So the reason I keep doing what I'm doing is because I was called to this work. As much content as I've been pumping out every day on social media and in YouTube and on television, I've been on like 3 television stories. They came to Boulder when we were doing our meetup groups out here. And they did a lovely story. It's Channel 7. You'll find the post at the Shivambu. They came and did a lovely interview, and I'm teaching the urine therapy protocols. I'm drinking my Shivambu in front of a camera, a television reporter, and a microphone guy. And when it was all over, they did a beautiful piece. And at the very end, they brought the doctor out to demonize it. But what they didn't realize is that it not only got 50,000 views since it was aired, but it jumped over to the affiliate stations, and I was contacted by CNN and ESPN and places in New York. A guy from China contacted me and interviewed me on a Hong Kong station. The movement can't be stopped, no matter how much they try to talk it in the opposition, because they're the ones who have been lying to us, so we're not going to buy it anyway. Woo! Any questions? Any questions?
I find it interesting, the timing of it, which kind of goes back to the whole divine blueprint guidance system, that it's not just guiding the teacher student that's drinking, right? It's like there's like some sort of energetic grid, which is why I was asking, if people like noticed, because the last 2 years would have made sense that this would come to the forefront. It's been around for how long? It's not new science or new healing, yet it's been given a much bigger throat chakra to release the wisdom and the expression. And obviously it's interesting that the shutdown allowed us to go more into virtual teaching, and the platforms took off. We always had the social media there, but with Zoom and just all the other factors that have pushed that and triggered the divine blueprint, like even within each of us, to attend or be more open-minded, or to speak up on a personal experience, or have teachers come forward, or write more books and have them published. I find it very interesting. It also correlates with a lot of the astrological alignments and the portals for anybody that does portal work, the numerology. This year, I think there's going to be even more of this urine therapy focus because it's 2022. In particular this month too, because we're in that 22222 portal, and 2 is the number for harmony and union. So it's intuitive medicine for inner union, right? So, and then what else gets activated? I'm not even surprised that you're talking to a lot of these 20-year-olds, these star seeds that have been sent in, from 2 decades ago. And like, this is now the opening. And they want to be teachers, without even questioning. It's just like an activation of some sort. So I find that all just so very interesting.
Well, if you want to go that far out into a cosmic conversation, let me broaden our perspective just a little bit. And this also brings in the immortals, and this will also bring in the breatharians. Because the breatharians know that floating around us at all time in what we call air is molecules of hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and other particulates that we may or may not have identified yet. So we are in water constantly. We have a memory of being born in water, spending our formative birthing years in water, right? A Course in Miracles. How many people read the Course in Miracles?
It
Right.
just started yesterday. That's so funny.
Yeah, we got a conversation to talk about. But the Course in Miracles says that all minds and all hearts are in constant communication. So we're picking up the chatter from the collective consciousness that this is something we're being directed toward, which is our water. And it's not something that people are having to stop and sort out and process because they intuitively are guided to it. That's why everyone's popping up and waking up, because we need a mass awakening on our planet right now to save humanity. So what perfect timing to push this forward. And by the way, even though many of us are in front of lots and lots of followers like myself are, pee drinkers are not on the radar of the cabal. They're not on the radar of the dark forces because they think everybody's pretty much convinced that it's a waste product. So I don't feel threatened in any way. I've been as public as anybody. I don't feel like there's going to be any harm to the water family.
How
Just
come?
don't quit.
How about Norton Weber?
What about him?
I thought he had dropped off the scene because of the cabal.
That's just my intuition that he might have been threatened. And so for safety for his family, he decided to go dark. But that doesn't mean he got taken out. So I can see, Justina, why everything is spreading so quickly and people are understanding without having to go through their negative associations so much to process out, well, maybe what we're saying is true and we're not a bunch of crazy people in a cult.
Well, I think when all the pineal glands collectively decalcify, and as you say, all those interconnections happen, that tipping point happens,
Yep.
that'll be behind the scenes transition. Nobody, I mean, the people who don't know won't know it's happening, but I think it's a major component
Oh,
to
yeah.
the ascension process, the shift in consciousness. And it'll then create a different energy grid, and we'll have different healing modalities, a different concept of nutrition, the body, the soul. And it again, the timing of it is just really beautifully orchestrated, in my opinion.
It is. Does anybody have a copy of this book? Or did you get the PDF that I sent you?
I got the PDF.
Okay. We're going to read about faith, since faith is an integral part of what this and any healing modality works. This is the thing that glues it all together is faith. So I was going to ask if anybody wants to read that chapter. If not, I'll read the chapter. Okay, Megan. It's page 11.
What page are we on?
Page 11 through 14.
All right. History of Shivambu.
No, faith.
No? Oh, okay. So I was going by what was here. Oh, 11 there. Okay, just a second here because I'm
Are you looking at the book or the PDF?
at the PDF right now. I have the book here too, but there we go. Yeah, how faith or trust plays a role in UT. Got it.
All right, hit it.
Sri Santabalji considered Orin therapy to be the boon of nature and a blessing by God for humanity. He describes human Orin as a divine and most powerful medicine. God has shown us this cure of all diseases. The truly wise person considers Orin as the best of all cures. Its prowess is indestructible. All of the many opinions about AUT are worth considering with an open mind. It can be seen in all religions and ancient Indian sects, including the Jains and the Buddhists, who have considered the Orin cure to be a sure cure. Even the researchers are also slowly but unreservedly approving the sterling qualities of UT. All these opinions and verdicts are good eye-openers. Has it occurred to you that Shivambu is your water of personal aliveness, well-being, and possible physical immortality? Without questions, concerns, or fears about getting better, you know that Shivambu is healing you or has healed you by now. Orin is the perfect elixir, arriving in the most perfect timing when you need it. Faith clears obstructions, inflammation, toxins, and pathogens as these are being cleansed and released permanently from the body. Faith reminds you that you will never have to buy or use supplements or medications because it's all in the water. Faith in Shivambu will guide you to choose living foods, lighter foods, less food, or no food without resistance or conflict. Faith in Shivambu clears the mind so creativity, imagination, and curiosity will reawaken. Of course, not everyone is ready for this leap of faith, which is to begin drinking pee. Instead of obsessing over taste and smell, Orin is a sample of what is flowing through your veins, and any repulsive Orin is a motivation to improve the internal conditions, rather than an excuse for not using Orin therapy. Moment by moment, it is faith, also known as trust, that is steadying and balancing you. Faith is guiding and carrying you while you are navigating the mind through its endless stream of ideas. 100% no money back guarantee. Trust in your own living water, along with a daily practice utilizing a variety of UT protocols, and you will achieve perfect health, well-being, abundance, and overwhelming feelings of gratitude for life. Our holy water purifies, cleanses, restores, and regenerates every area of life. Healing yourself or reclaiming your body occurs while the mind and spirit are being realigned, thanks to the related nutrients found in Orin. Shivambu devotees report a richness and greater quality of life. Their clear minds, blended with a calm relaxation and joy, brings them home to their natural way of being. Thanks to you, Shivambu, I am now at peace and am enjoying all the beauty, blessings, and bounty in this moment. Faith is sending me one client at a time that is eager to return to a superior quality of life. My faith is increasing. So are my clients' faith and their daily AUT practice. The results are becoming exhilarating and transformational for us both. Above all things, have faith in the presence or the light in us all. Now take the Shivambu message to the world that is seeking answers to their health matters.
AUT means auto urine therapy, in case anybody wasn't sure about that.
It works perfectly in German, but the eigene Urinetherapie, it's just self-urine therapy, auto urine therapy. But in Germany, that's like, it rolls off the tongue and sounds good. In English, it's sort of clunky.
Nice, nice. By the way, Megan, if you know anybody can help me translate my books into German, I would love it.
Right. We might have enough people. I mean, I speak fluent German, but it's not my mother tongue, so I can't really translate into it. But I do know people who have done things like that before.
Okay, yeah. Let's have a chat off this call. Or German translation. How's everybody holding up?
Yeah.
Doing good?
Absolutely brilliant. It's great to be here.
Glad to have you. By the way, I get more clients than I can handle. So I hope you guys will step up as a teacher so I can refer people to you, because at some point it's going to be ridiculous. I mean, I've been counseling clients in Africa and in UK and America and Canada and South America and all over the place. And I also have a full-out wellness practice here in Boulder, Colorado. So between that and writing books and doing community work, it's nice to have some help.
I actually put it on my website 2 weeks ago because I was getting so many requests. So I hear you, just in terms of it's not all set up yet, but it's there. Yeah. And whether it's courses or individual consultations or whatever it was, yeah, the demand is growing. So I'm in.
It's growing. And when you guys decide to be on the Water Family Directory and that directory starts circulating more and more, be prepared for people reaching out to you, either because they just want to get educated or they're scared and they need your comfort and guidance, which happens a lot. I get a lot of people that they're right on the edge. They're having a breakdown, a breakthrough, really, and they want to know what to do. And our job is to stay as calm as a 911 responder, to trust that your intuition will guide you and them, and that the perfect words will show up when you need to say them so you don't have to feel a little nervous that you're not an expert. But your compassion and your care for people is enough.
I do have some questions around all of that later, but I don't know when that will be.
Let's do
How.
it now. Let's do it now. We still got another 45 minutes.
Okay, so when I was sick, so I had for Megan, I had pneumonia. So this is about 3 years ago, and I remember reading that the urine hospitals in China and India, when people were very sick, they would go to hospital to be cared for. So my husband and my daughter, were aware of, they were very capable and really into what I was doing. But I was really sick, and one of the things that really helped me was I had an infrared bed that rolled out, and it was full of like crystals. But somebody had lent that to me, and the reason why that helped me was because I needed the warmth for my kidneys, and as soon as the heat came away, I couldn't cope. I was just constantly laying down on this bed. So because I fasted for 25 days, and that whole time my urine was pretty awful. Yeah, and I was doing the enemas and the body rubs and everything, and I had a lot of faith in it, because I've done sort of quite a lot of fasts before when I was younger, and so I had a lot of faith in it, and it worked out fantastic. I got total reset, but along that way, I can imagine other people just feeling quite freaked out, and how to take, what would I do how would I deal with something like that, because I had this kind of expensive bed that somebody had lent me, so I guess that's my question, is what happens with the kidneys when you're that sick and your body's in such a
weakened state.
Yeah.
Well, are you talking about a person who's been ever introduced to urine therapy?
Yeah, I guess so. Like, say somebody was sick, and they heard about, for a friend of a friend, that I'd been sick, and because I tell everybody, and if I put myself out, well, when I put myself out there, eventually as a teacher, as an assistant, or I guess there's that place in my psyche that's like, ooh, how would I support them in such a vulnerable time if they really are that sick, and they haven't got maybe someone to look after them, they haven't got what I had. So I guess that's what happens in that situation.
Are you thinking of stepping up as a healthcare provider or just a coach?
For Shivambu?
Well, for this person or anybody.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to, this is, to me, I've done so many different things, and this is, to me, the answer to everything. So why wouldn't I help people, so yeah, definitely I'd like to eventually, when I feel confident that I'm ready to do that.
Well, I'm thrilled to hear you say that, Michelle, because I can feel your passion and your fire for wanting to share this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the best time to start as a teacher or a therapist is when you're not ready, because this puts you in a teaching learning situation, and you will learn from the experience with the client if you haven't already got enough experience. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Because we can put off these things indefinitely because of our resistance or our thoughts about it, or you can jump in and learn as you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, or reach out to me and I'll bring you up to speed.
Definitely.
When you're working with people who have negative association, it's good to know that they have nothing that they can stand on as an argument, because nobody did any research. If someone says urine is a waste product, it's disgusting, blah, 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 you just turn to them and out of the mouth, the first thing you want to say is, interesting, where did you get that idea from? And most people say, well, I heard it from my doctor, I saw it on television, da 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 da. But they never did any research, nothing to the extent of what you and I are doing.
Mm.
So the mind is fertile for new ideas if you can be patient with people as they make that internal shift and make a new connection association with their own body healing themselves. It's very empowering.
So when somebody, would you say, put in constant water bottles on, is that something that you come across, people needing heat all over their body to get through a fast?
If they have a circulation issue, yeah.
Okay.
Or if
So
they tend to have cold feet, because I get that way. I am a
yeah, I
vata.
had cold feet. I had, yeah.
Megan knows that. I'm a vata pitta. So I get cold hands and I get cold feet, but I do a lot of body work. So my hands heat up really quickly when I'm working on feet or backs or shoulders, whatever. And it's a matter of working with your core heat.
Breath work too.
Breath work. Who said that?
Yeah, that's
Booyah. Booyah.
yeah.
Yeah, and if you guys will get in the habit of doing 30 or more connected breaths on a daily basis, you will get ahead of feeling anxious and nervous and stuck and scared and no movement. And that's a big issue with people. We're paralyzed because of the information overload, our emotional overload, our energy overload. So what happens is people are shutting down and not accessing their strength, their energy, and their life force. So
Yeah,
if you'll get in that habit, then you'll be able to get ahead of that collecting in your body.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Good questions. What else you got?
Well, I'm just going to add to the cold and heat thing, just because the other, since we all have our related modalities that we come from or that have brought us to urine. And I work with someone named Mata Dalian who has a self-healing method. She does her own work, but she's developed a self-healing method, and I've been working with that. I'm working with her for actually Shivambu and Mata Dalian found me in the same month of my life. So when you think of when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. The two most profound things that have changed me came to me in the same month. So she, using her method, one of the things that it does is it takes you into the unconscious, and you can work through past lives. You can work through the things that are keeping you in fear and keeping you stuck. And the more I've worked through past life death moments, because at the moment of death, you're cold, your body gets very cold. And that fear of being cold at the moment of death gets stored in your cellular memory, even as you switch to a new body and you come in. And I used to be extremely cold in my hands and feet, but also in the winter, just wearing so many layers and just feeling cold, specifically in my back all the time. And that feeling, as we can imagine, as the soul leaves the body, that coldness up the back, the more I've worked with the past life death moments, I have had less cold in my body.
Wow, that really, I've got shivers on that.
But I also always come back to, at the same time, I was doing urine rubs. I was rubbing my whole body. I was helping the tissues to understand what I was doing. It wasn't shocking them. So I was getting, I really think of these methods as working so well together that my awareness of my body deepened because of the urine. My understanding of why cold would go through my body, deepen because of that work. And then I come back and I do my body rubs, and then it, like, the layers come at each other. So for me, those two things together, I mean, there's other things I do, yoga, the breath work. Yes, I do those things every day too, but just to that point of cold, and not just going, I'm cold and I can make it better, but understanding how complex we are.
Mm-hmm.
And that coldness can be, this lifetime my body is Pitta, another lifetime my body was Kapha. This lifetime I live in a cold place, this time I live in a warm place. Like, those things affect us too, but there's more.
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed it out, because as a rebirther of all these years, we notice that when people's hands get cold or they get paralyzed or have what's called tetany, it's because some fear is rising and they're having to breathe it out.
Yeah.
So that
So
might be.
are you finding it's better to use aged Orin for body rubs? Especially when it comes to cold hands and feet, because I have really cold hands and feet too.
You're talking about using aged or evolving versus
Yes,
fresh.
exactly, versus fresh, right? Because I always use fresh, but I'm thinking aged might be better.
Well, it's increases in everything, all the stem cells, nutrients, the antibodies, et cetera, et cetera. And more people are moving toward aged urine because they're finding its power is stronger than fresh. So if you have some collected, yeah, use it.
I have a lot collected, but it's a very strong ammonia smell. Is that typical?
It's typical, and that will outgas after a while. You know what that term means? Like
yeah,
when
yeah, but it takes quite a while, right?
it takes quite a while, and if you air it, that's fine. You may not have too many friends come over for a while, but yes.
I know. Well, luckily I have a detached room, so it doesn't go into the house.
What was your question, Crystal?
Oh, I ask Megan if she could spell the modality. I didn't really catch it. You're talking about with the past life.
Sure, I'll put that in there. And it's not that it's a past life thing, it's just that necessarily, it's just that using that method, it's one of the things I've accessed.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah.
If
And
everybody,
I use evolved urine for my body rubs every day.
nice.
Oh, you do? Okay. How evolved is it? Is there a specific amount?
Date.
Yeah.
Well, at the beginning, I aged it to 1 month. I think Brother Sage can talk to the same idea. It's like you use what you have. At first, I said I'm going to age it for a month. I'm going to go past 2 weeks, because I'd read what everybody had said, and they all said it's much better. After a week, it's okay. After 2 weeks, it's even better. After a month, it's amazing. Right. After 2 months, right? So I was like, I'm going to go to a month. So I started with a month, and then I kept aging. So then I had 2-month-olds. I had enough 2-month-old to use every day. And then I had enough 3-month-old to use every day. So right now I'm using 5 to 6-month-old every day. But I have, like Brother Sage as well. He's got very old stuff. I've got 2-year-old and 1-year-old in the cupboard. You got your 3-year-old. Yeah. Right.
I do foot soaks with it. And so I seem to be using it up before it gets to that age.
So to answer your question, Catherine.
Yeah.
Determining a measurement of strength is subjective, because to be able to define it at any one moment of time when you could be using it or waiting for it to hit, nobody's ever proven a nutritional peak for Shivambu.
Oh, all right.
And just trust your intuition is going to be right, and make sure you date your bottles. So at least if you need to know, go back and go, oh yeah, that was 4 months ago. At least you'll have some kind of way to test it that way.
Okay.
Is there a specific way to collect that?
You mean to store it?
Yeah, I mean, when I had collected it starting in December, but I read somewhere like you have to sterilize the bottle, and you got to put this type of a cap on it, and I didn't do any of that, and then it had like the floaty stuff
Yes.
that kind of congregated and looked like a mother or something, and if I was collecting multiple times during the day, it would like just become cloudy. So each bottle is different, and so I didn't prepare the bottles and sterilize them like canning style. So is there a strategy to collecting all of that, or there is?
Yeah, by the way,
Okay.
look, it's being sterilized right now. You can can, now if you read the Dimar Tantra, and it lays out the different types of containers that you can use, from brass to copper to gold. They didn't have glass back then, so they didn't say glass. They even mentioned getting plantain leaves, and you could form a bowl out of leaves. You can use your hand. It really doesn't matter. But if you want to store it, you got two options, and I'll explain why either one works. Some people use a cheesecloth. Some people use sprouting bags that are made of flax or hemp. Some people use nylon stockings. Some people use a piece of paper, and they put a rubber band on the top. And some people, like me, just put on the screw-on top lid, because nothing can grow in it except Shivambu. So it's all a personal choice.
So you can just pee in a glass and put a lid on it.
You can, or if you'd like to have it clean to purify the room while you're sleeping, leave it open by your bedstand.
If you live, well, I can't leave mine open. We get the little flies that like to live in the sink. They love it. So I learned that. But you can just, they only stay at the top, so you actually can get them out and still use it. I wasn't quite ready for that, so I did give that whole one to my dog, and she
Right.
loved it. So
A good option for that is to get yourself a nebulizer, the kind they use for essential oils, that have a little well chamber on the bottom with a limit line that you can put it in, and put that puppy on and let it go till it stops, which is about 4 to 6 hours, and you can have your room clean by the time you wake up in the morning.
Ah, good idea.
Now, the neat thing about this, but what's even more exciting is this: when it gets to small particulates where there's no drops in the air, but it's really fine mist, then it doesn't leave smells all over the rugs or anywhere it might fall.
So with the nebulizer, you just put in the neat, Orin.
What was the question?
In the nebulizer, you just put in neat, Orin.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's fresh or evolving.
Okay.
Can you post where you got that nebulizer? Because I'd like to get one of those.
You're talking about this guy?
Yeah, yeah, I like the way it looks, and it's small and easy. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if the company still makes it.
Oh, wow.
You can find it on Amazon. That's where I got it for
I
like 30
can't read
bucks.
the name down there. What's the name say?
Well, this says it doesn't even have a name. It has
Oh,
two letters, MN-001A. And on the back, it has the technical specifications.
It's
But
just run on batteries?
your choice of batteries are USB port.
Yeah. Okay, I like that.
But
And
it's a specifically a mesh nebulizer, Brother Say?
yeah, this is called a mesh nebulizer, and it has a different screen process inside it so that it changes the molecular structure of the particulate size. And it either comes with this piece for the mouth, or it comes with a mouth section for one adult size and one child size. And what I like is using this part, because you not only can use it for bringing it up the nose or the mouth, you can gently exfoliate your eyes, your forehead, your ears. You can go nuts with this thing.
Yeah.
It seems like a much easier bypass around the ego, because I mean, it's like when you're dealing with aged urine, you're trying to, well, I have a hard enough time getting myself to do it, and I haven't. But to try to, like, I'm imagining myself advising somebody, I'm like, oh, just pour aged urine on your eyeball. I think this would be a much easier, like, bridge step to, oh, just mist
It
your
is.
face and
It
your eye.
is. It is, and it's real gentle. But you do need to You do need to know that when you first start using it up your nose, if you've got dehydrated sinuses, you're going to get the sting whether you use fresh or evolved. But
Is
as
there
our
any way to pre-treat
friend
that?
Matt's, what?
Is there any way to pre-treat that? Like do a steam, a traditional steam first and then do the treatment?
You could probably experiment and figure that out, or you can dilute it with distilled water, or you could just bite the bullet and go for it.
And how long does that sting last?
A couple of times. I mean, it takes as long as it takes for this area to finally receive the moisture and the hydration up in here.
I find it's kind of like wasabi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, the radish sting or whatever that's in there.
So when you snort or sniff, or you literally just sniff.
Well, there's a difference between sniffing, snorting, and drinking.
How do you do it up your
You
nose?
see how Crystal did
Yeah,
it?
right.
See how Crystal did that?
I usually turn upside down after, but not really practical on the couch. But I snort it in and then go upside down and then move my head in different directions. I think I read it in the book, right?
Yeah, it's in the book.
Sorry about that. Okay.
He's doing it right now.
I just need to see it. I can't believe it.
I'm not on that level.
It takes getting used to.
I
Wait,
just,
Yeah, that's what I use too.
so could you do that now?
this.
What do you do?
I
You
would,
just
so you can do it like this and just plug it and go and just do a little plunge. You can't do a full 10 milliliters. That would fly out everywhere, but just do it and snort up at the same time. But actually what I do now, I used to tip my head upside down and put my head on the ground. And then I would put 1 to 2 milliliters in each side and just leave my head on the ground and roll around on my head for 5 minutes. But now I have one of those yoga feet up things. So I put my head with something you can do a headstand, but without putting pressure on your neck. So I put my head in, I put this in, and then I lift my feet up in the air. So I do 3 to 5 minutes upside down.
wow.
And you start feeling it. Feel it here, but then you
I
start.
really feel like I need it, but I have the fear of drowning, like kind of like really kicks in.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of research that talks to about the olfactory senses and how incredible they are, and how they go way beyond what we think they do. And so when like it goes beyond into parts of like the brain, you can feel it in such an incredible way everywhere.
Wow.
That it's way more powerful than we even understand, I think.
Oh my God.
Can't wait to produce the video of you doing that headstand.
Oh yeah, amazing.
Maybe next week.
Maybe next week when you have free time.
I just need someone who can do the video for me.
Oh, no problem. You got enough friends. I mean, you can pull it off. All right. Next question? We got 20 minutes.
So I had a case. She has oxalate issues, balancing oxalate, and so she's got joint issues, this and that. So she was asking me because sometimes when she urinates, the oxalates come out and it turns it cloudy. So she's got gut issues, toxic issues. But so her question was, well, should I do all these other like functional modalities first to rebalance the oxalates, or is it okay to drink all that? Because intuitively for her it doesn't make sense, right? If the body's producing excess and then she's drinking it. And I didn't really know how to answer that. I mean, internally I would say, well, intuitively, since it's intuitive medicine, you can drink it because it'll know what you need to do to rebalance the oxalates. But the traditional thinking is like, oh, that's not going to work. And then the other question was, do I need to come off my supplements and meds and this and that before I start?
Good question.
Mm-hmm.
That stopped me from really like being free with my information. So I was curious what your thoughts are.
Well, to get the body in balance, you've got to work on all the areas of the body, all the areas of health, mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual, so that you're not leaving anything out, and it also will drive you a lot deeper into your healing. It'll be more permanent if you work out your programming and your belief systems. So that's one good approach. What was the second question?
So, like, she was saying, well, it doesn't make sense if I'm going to drink my urine because I'm drinking back the oxalates that I'm urinating out. And then the other question was,
Supplements,
like,
medication.
should I do like a functional medicine, yada yada, with supplements and everything first to get to a certain point? And what is that point that I can then do the urine therapy? And is it better to microdose and do an ayahuasca journey? Like, so sequencing it. And then I didn't know what to say because I've read that you should be off prescriptions and stuff before you.
Some people, Justina, have enough willpower to go cold turkey and quit drugs and quit self-destructive habits and get off junk food. Some people can do that, some people cannot, because food is addictive. And all these drugs that people are taking, whether it's prescribed by the doctor or the recreational drugs, you've got to get the chemistry changed so the craving goes away. What I tell people now, most people they're scared of stopping it altogether. So I will tell them, do the urine therapy, particularly the oral application, 1 hour on either side of the supplements or the drugs. So the body doesn't go, oh, I'm being attacked, it's an invader, and they would go after it like that. All right. So over a period of time, the chemistry is going to change. The desire is going to change. People will notice they're healthier, they're strong. And a day or two will go by and they go, oh, I forgot to do my supplements. I mean, it's a progression. It'll take as long as it takes for people to make that shift. And whatever you can do to instill faith in them, in their water, empowers them to make that transition quicker.
So it's okay that it's being excreted in there.
Yeah, because the body uses that information to design the medicine.
Okay.
People say, well, what if there's this heavy metal that comes and shows up in the urine? Well, you also have to think of they're approaching it from the same mindset of the vitamin nutritional industry, where they would take something like vitamin C out of an orange and isolate it and make a synthetic form of it when you're leaving out the bioflavonoids and all the important nutrients of the Orin. So if you're looking at, well, they might have mercury and heavy metal in my urine. Well, you got 3,000 compounds in there, and I don't think that one little small little piece of it is going, in the big picture, going to affect you. Besides, it's all been merged together with everything else that makes it so powerful. So basically, you're dealing with their concerns.
Technically, you don't really need to well, 'cause some people can't come off of their prescriptive meds.
They could.
They could, yes, they could.
You're going to have to get to the life and death conversation,
Yeah, true. That's a
because
whole mind shift.
if you quit this, it won't kill you, but your beliefs that it will could harm you.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why, that's why I was saying that I'm having a hard time trusting, that, because I'm still doing some supplements too, because of my gut microbiome is so off balance. And it seems like I feel a lot like your friend that you were just talking about, because I think I have oxalate issues too. When I take vitamin C, it just sends me over. I can't take it, and that's the oxalate issue, I know. So I'm eating oranges, and that's fine. When I eat oranges, it's great. But one of the things I wanted to ask you, Brother Sage, is the doctor has me doing a provoked mold test, meaning he wants me to take glutathione and I think it has N-acetylcysteine in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's supposed to provoke the mold. And that way, when I take the test, it's going to show up better, because the last one didn't show up anything. So I'm going, well, if I'm provoking mold, then I'm provoking it into my urine, right? And
You're provoking it into your system.
Yeah, and in my system, my whole system, everywhere. And then so isn't that gonna, then I'm gonna be drinking it back into my body when I'm drinking it. And so
no, you're going to be drinking a transformed version of it.
Yeah, I'm going to be drinking a transformed version. So so I'm going, okay, I'm still drinking it, even though I started the provoking, and I am drinking, and I'm like, well, from what I hear, everything, the urine is going to be the antidote, right? So I'm just going to, okay, good. That's what I thought.
Urine is the best prevention and remedy antidote for any form of illness, including so-called viruses.
Or mold toxicity.
Or mold toxicity, or Lyme disease, or Parkinson, all those things that affect the immune system.
Awesome.
And if you're having mold issues, you might want to look about making sure there's none in your house.
Yeah, no, this is from a previous mold issues. Yeah, that they think is still in my body. Yeah.
All right. What else we got?
I'm on my I've started like a long fast, because I thought it'd be great to do one whilst I'm doing this, and see what happens. And because before I was so sick, so it'd be great to do it when I'm not sick. And so I'm going to do so
Is it
what
Orin fast?
yeah, just Orin. And so I'm going to be doing an aged urine enema tonight, first time. And I've heard, I think it was Troy saying that when he put that up, then he got a load of parasites out, you know. Is that normal, or I mean, I've done loads of enemas and I always have great success with it, but I did do Orin when I was sick, but I diluted it and it wasn't aged, so I guess I'm just sort of wondering what sort of effects you might get with an aged enema.
Is your question of is the removal of parasites normal?
Yeah, like would that like be like in an instant thing, or is it just it just happens when it's the time to happen?
I would say it happens if you have parasites. Not everybody has parasites.
But aged urine is going to be something that's going to, they're just really seriously not going to like that. So
they're going to like that. Plus, you're also starving out their source of food, which is what you eat.
Yeah. Sure.
This is how you get rid of candida problems too.
Yeah. So yeah.
First, you want to get rid of all the food that converts to sugar, all the carbs, cookies and pasta and pretzels and bagels and donuts and fried food and pizza and the whole shebang, all the American so-called food. Get that out of the body as soon as possible. If you get rid of the dairy, if you get rid of the meat, all the mucus-forming foods, all the acid-forming foods, and you really understand the chemistry and composition of food, you'll move to raw foods and fruit.
Yeah, sure.
Which eliminates a lot of the problems. Go ahead, Crystal.
I know that some people do get confused when they do enemas that what's coming out is a parasite, but it's actually like a mucoid plaque. And if you need pictures, I can send you the difference. So everyone's like, oh, parasites, and it's like more mucus. Yeah. So as someone who does, I mean, I've done coffee enemas for a long time now, like daily enemas with urine and both. So yeah, I've actually never had any parasites, and I was excited, hoping they would, I don't know, but nothing. So I think parasites are for us anyway. Like if we have them, it's actually very beneficial because they're probably holding on to the heavy metals that we have too much of. So then I just feel like everything in our body, like there is nothing bad. There is no bad bacteria. If you have mold, it's there for a reason. Candida is there for a reason. It's not the root cause. So for me, us like blaming these other things, it's just another victimhood almost. So it's like they're there for us. And when we're ready to release them, they will transcend. I had candida issues for years, didn't eat fruit for 2 years, did all these crazy things, didn't stop it at all. So now all I eat is fruit. So it was never the candida. But yeah, I'm excited for you to do your first evolved enema. Yeah.
I will let you know.
I'd like to trade numbers with you, Crystal, please.
Yeah.
So that we can, because I do have pictures too that I thought was parasites. It was probably like you said. Yeah. I don't know how we can do that. I guess Brother Sage, or are you gonna?
I'll put it in the chat.
What's the question, Catherine?
I want to trade numbers with well, basically everybody on here, but mostly Crystal right now because of what she just mentioned about parasites and candida, because I've had candida issues too.
Well, what I can do is do a bulk email so everybody has each other's email address, if that's okay.
That'd be awesome.
Bulk email all students. As you can see, this class is really good for networking.
Yeah.
Right.
And when you're done with the class, when we graduate, you not only get a certificate of completion, but you're invited to the private graduates Telegram group. And the last class we had 7 students, and these guys fell in love with each other. They're constantly giving each other feedback, juicing each other up, sending I love yous. So You'll be invited to the Telegram group.
Awesome.
We won't have any trolls because everybody's there by invitation.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I've just got another question on the fasting. I'm just wondering about exercise, because I went for a walk this morning and I was just like, exhausted. I felt like my blood was, I knew I needed to do an enema basically. But I just wondered, because again, because before I didn't do exercise, I was just on my back for 25 days. I'm just wondering, if anybody's done what sort of exercise you would do if you want to do a long fast, because I'd like to do a 30-day one now,
Journal it.
Yeah, that's what my daughter's trying to work out, because I was thinking of writing a little blog, to do it. So yeah, what could I what do you what's the most balanced thing to do with exercise, I guess? I mean, obviously listen to my body.
Well, it depends on what you feel like doing and what kind of strength or willpower you have, because some people do hikes, some people go running, some people do stationary bicycle, some people go swimming. I do 3.5 mile hikes about 5 or 6 times a week. So last time I did a fast on Orin all day, I got a lot of things done. I still got in a 3.5 mile hike. I still gave 2 massages. I counseled with people, finished this, that, and the other thing. It all depends. I mean, if you're familiar, if you've done fasting before, you know how to work the energy. And when your body says stop and rest, honor that. It's not about pushing yourself, or it's not about enduring any kind of pain.
Yeah.
It's another good reason to nurture and love yourself and be kind to yourself. I definitely would recommend you get a massage, whether the person gives you an Orin massage or not, because you got to get your body circulating, your lymphatic system, and you need to have human contact.
What do you recommend to use for a topical for a massage if it's not Orin?
Topical?
Yeah, because I don't really like coconut oil.
Oh, so you're saying you would not want to do Orin topically?
No, I do, but I don't know anybody that would do that. No, I would love to do a topical Orin massage, but yeah.
Well, you can go out in your backyard and give yourself an Orin massage. You can go in the bathtub.
Well, I do, but yeah, I'd like to, have one done to me too.
All right, here's a couple suggestions.
Okay.
Introduce somebody or more than one person in your community to Orin therapy, to urine therapy. Have them start to live the lifestyle, and then you suggest doing a trade with them, or fly me to your house.
There you go.
You just got to use your imagination.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got to get a lot of people on a big next level.
Right.
We can hell of a party now. When Vijay's when he was in the hospital, and even now when he's at home, Indira's given him massages with her urine and his urine, and she doesn't miss a thing. She does the perineum, she does the testicles, she does the anus, she does up, down, front, and back. Now, they've been married 50 years, and she honors him for the husband and for the man of her life. Maybe it's because her background is she's from India. But I've never seen such much compassionate caregiving before than I have when I go to visit them. It's incredible.
So, question.
Yes.
Let's say somebody's interested, but they're still having that mental block. In the interim, while they're working all of that out to progress to Shivambu, is distilled water like an alternative, or
An alternative to Shivambu?
yeah, while they're kind of still
Well, they're all distilled waters.
But like, because if the mental block is like, whoa, they're so indoctrinated in the traditional concept that it's waste and you shouldn't be drinking it, and there's no benefit, and they don't want to do any of the research because there's too much cognition. Because it's technically distilled, right?
It is distilled, and so is fruit, and so is glacier water, and so is rain. So I suggest baby step them. The first thing you want to do is a fun little process. It's called baby steps.
right.
By the way, people will look to you as a demonstration. They will see you getting healthier. They will see you getting radiant. They will go, I want what she has. I mean, subliminally, they're picking up on cues, particularly if they've seen you over the last 3, 6, 9, whatever months. They go, my God, Justina, you look awesome. What are you doing? So that registers with them. The other thing is the baby step. And here's how it works. Have them collect some Orin. It doesn't matter how much it is. Have them put in a finger, a pinky, it doesn't really matter. Right? You with me so far? Have them touch their pee and say to them, notice you didn't die or get sick. Okay, that's step 1. Step 2, dip your finger in the Orin, lick your finger. Notice you didn't get sick or die. Step number 3, dropper bottle. Have them drop a whole dropper full into their mouth. Hold it for a while. You want to inch them into 1 ounce, 3 ounces, and so forth. When they start to get up to ounces, you can cut them free. Does that make sense? You want to work with their mind because they need to build a new pathway to understand this.
But if they can't even get there, can I say, we'll start with distilled water from the store? Because technically the concept is the same, and then try, no. Just
Well, they're both in that category, yes, but they're 2 different things. You might want to start them off with a foot soak. I'd start them off topically because they're not ready to drop it through their lips.
right. That's what I was thinking. Because I've run into resistance and like just hearing stories, and it's like, oh, some people are just not going to be open to this. And there's no point in trying to convince, right? But then there are
That's
other
how you
people that are like open, but like there's that cognitive dissonance is needing extra like support. So
start them off slow.
their foot soaks would probably be the easiest.
Yes, and that's so much fun because when people are putting it on their skin or stepping in it, they don't realize they are drinking it,
Right,
but they
draw.
haven't formed that association
Mm-hmm.
because it goes into the pores of the skin.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get them reading material. The other suggestion is don't use yourself as a resource, but use a third-party testimonial. Talk about someone from this group, talk about me, talk about, you heard in a social media group that people were putting it on their feet and it got healthier, or they rubbed it in their hair and their hair got darker. My hair gets darker every time I massage it, and not too shabby for a 67-year-old. So
Wow.
it kind of helps that I've been at this 28 years. So does that help, Justina?
Yeah, it does. Because
Different
I'm
approaches.
quite intrigued by all the benefits, and I do believe that it can. But I just when I run into these, well, it's like what's going on in the world right now, and I've just decided it's there for the people who are ready for it, not for everyone.
Right.
And I've had family members that are like, I had to end the conversation because it just wasn't going down the right road at all. And I saw, when you are so indoctrinated, there's just no way. The bridge is like too vast. So,
Right. So plant the seeds, and
right,
some will grow and some will not grow, and realize that you're not here to save people.
yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
as someone who does
The biggest
counseling and
way.
therapy, I have to, and if you guys are in relationships, you got to remember that your work is your work, their work is their work, and you're not here to save, rescue, or to protect anybody. They have to find their way, and you can show them by example or help them and guide them. But be careful if you call yourself a healer, because that's a trap of the ego. We're facilitators.
Facilitator, that's the
Yeah.
word.
People go, I'm a healer. I'm a healer. I'm going, yeah, you just disempowered your client. Thank you.
Exactly.
So whenever me and my fiance were super excited, we kind of forgot that it's like not normal for everyone. So for Christmas, Brother Sage, we sent his dad and mom one of your books, and we were like so excited for them to have it. And then they wanted to like have an intervention for us. It was like not good at all. And so we were like, oh wait, we gotta.
I love it. I love it. Well, you may, if you feel gutsy enough, is to leave a copy of one of the books on your coffee table or on the tank on the toilet.
Mm.
So people who have downtime, I mean, it's a great conversation starter. And if you get one of the shirts, you saw the slogan, urine therapy does the body good. Yeah, put this on your car or put this on a shirt and walk around and see if anybody's willing to talk to you. Oh my God, you're a pee drinker.
Definitely. How to not win friends and influence people.
Well, when you get to a point, and I hope you will soon, and you might soon, I'm so well known for this conversation and this message that I find people on social media and people locally, they come up to me and go, "Oh my God, someone I can talk to about urine therapy. I've been doing this unknown to my wife or my husband or my kids, and I just needed to have some safe person I could talk to."
Yeah, I can imagine.
And so, yeah, it helps people come out of the water closet and start talking to people.
Yeah.
Something else, Justina, just because, I mean, I think so many Brother Sage's words go through my head anyway, in terms of like, how do you say stuff to people, or where do you start? And everybody's different, but the person who introduced me just said, put a couple drops in the back of one hand, but that could be on top of one foot, on one calf muscle, but part of the idea was compare the two sides of the body. If you can do it 3 days in a row and then compare the skin, and everybody's changed a baby's diaper, or they've had to clean up some disgusting rotten food. Like, we use our hands to touch things all the time and then we wash them. So the idea of putting a few drops, most people can kind of be like, all right, like if they really want to know, then they can get over enough to put a few drops on the back of one hand. Yeah. And they don't even have to catch it. They can just use their fingers when they're going to the bathroom. They don't even have to like get into having a jar, because that'd be crazy, and put a couple drops. But after 3 days, comparing the skin, and when somebody starts to see that their skin likes it, then they start to make the jump in their head and go, well, wait a minute. Because part of what you're looking for is that switch. And if they're really not ready to put it in their mouth, because then they might feel the energy, then they might feel something big. But if they're not ready to do that, it's some other way for them to go, my body doesn't hate this. Like Brother Sage was saying, I'm not dead. I'm not sick and I'm not dead.
I really love that. And as you were talking, I just made a connection. I think some of the resistance is also a deeper soul union resistance. Just they're like, each person's journey is different, but they're just not ready to come into that union and that fusion. They can't force them because everything needs to be aligned, right? But as you were talking, I just got that piece. So it's also more than just like, oh, waste, like that, getting over that indoctrination. So
it's also up to us to not prejudge anybody, because you might be the person that Spirit sent to that person to give them this life-saving message, and you're not going to know that until you open your mouth. Yep. I mean, everybody who comes up to me now goes, "You're not going to mention urine therapy, are you?" Yes, I am going to mention it. So you build it into your conversation, you build it into your lifestyle, and it will be demonstrated whether you even bring it up or not. They want to know, why you look so good. How come you can outrun me and you have better energy and you're sexy as hell? I mean, whatever it is that you associate with wellness.
Thank you. Thank you for all of that.
Trust the water. Trust the water. So guys, we're going to come to a close our class today, and we're going to meet back Thursday at 10:30. The Zoom link should still work. This this coming Sunday, I'm going to be in a hot springs retreat for 4 days, but I will still broadcast from the hotel room on Tuesday the 22nd. And I'm going to put in my phone number in case anybody needs to reach out to me. 6282. I did it right. Woo-hoo. You guys are great. Great to be with you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Well excited.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And let's see, who am I shipping a book to? Justina? All right. If anybody else wants signed copies and you live in the United States, reach out to me. I'll tell you how to do that.
Okay, I will be.
All right. Until
Thanks
Thursday,
so much. Amazing.
let's do a group hug.
Yay.
You're the sisters I've always wanted. I love you guys.
That's so great.
All right, I'm going to shut this off, and then when I get a chance later today, I'll send you the link to the recording. I'm going to put this on YouTube, and you'll have it. Was there somebody who said they couldn't come on Thursday? Okay, well, you'll get a recording of it, and I'll get you caught up to speed as soon as possible.
Thank you.